Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle Ferguson and I'm the crochet pattern designer of Two Brothers Blankets. Today we are going to be crocheting the Jayda Tee. This is one of my favorite summer tops. It's super easy to make and it is lightweight and lacy and super comfortable for warm weather months. For this project, you're going to need some fingering #1 weight yarn. I'm using twill fingering weight from We Crochet. This is the colorway Fiddlehead. It's a 100% superwash merino wool, which makes it machine washable and dryable, which I love for crochet garments. I've also got a crochet hook. I'm using a G 4mm furl streamline wood hook. I will link that in the description. Be sure to check your gauge to determine your hook size. And you'll also need the written pattern, scissors, measuring tape, and a yarn needle for weaving in ends. The pattern will be linked in the description below. All right, let's go ahead and get started. To start our Jayda Tee, we're going to be working some chainless foundation single crochet stitches in round 1. For this size, it says to do 180 chainless foundation single crochet stitches. So I'm doing a size medium for myself. I got my slip knot here. I have a tutorial for this stitch if you want something a little bit slower and broken down. I'll link that so you can check that out. Otherwise, I'll do a few step by step and then I'll work the rest. So I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to insert my hook in the back bump of the first chain that I did. I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through one of those loops. I have 2 loops on my hook again. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both. On this other side, I have made a single crochet stitch, but we're going to be working on the bottom, which is going to be facing us at the moment. So now I'm going to insert my hook into those 2 loops on the bottom of my stitch that I just created, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 1, 2 loops on my hook again, yarn over and pull through both. So I've created 2 stitches here. Then I'm going to insert my hook into the next, the two loops on the bottom of the one I just did. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So I've worked 3 chainless foundation single crochet stitches so far. I'm going to do 180. All right, I've done 80 chainless foundation single crochet stitches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it out here flat like this, just so that I can be sure there's no twists in the circle that I'm going to make. And I'm going to take my hook and insert it into the top loops of the first stitch that I created, and then I'm going to join it together with a slip stitch, like so. Now I'm working in the round, and I'm going to be working in the top of those chainless foundation single crochet stitches. So for round 2, it says to do a long chain, which I have a tutorial for that as well. It's just pulling up a loop about the height of a double crochet and chaining 1, and then I'm going to turn my work. It says to do 3 double crochet in the first stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And then we are going to skip 2 stitches and do 3 double crochet in the next. And that is our repeat. Skip 2, 3 double crochet in the next. Skip 2. And I am going to repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, 3. And join to the first stitch. So I'm going to join to my first double crochet stitch. And our 3 double crochet are what is considered one set of 3 double crochet is considered a shell. So when I get to the other side and join, for this size, I should have 60 shells. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll count our shells. All right, I have finished round 2. I have joined to the first stitch with a slip stitch. I just joined into that first double crochet stitch and completed my round. Now we're ready for round 3. So I am going to do a long chain, turn my work again, and it says to skip 1 DC and do 3 DC in the next. This will be the middle DC of the shell. So I'm just skipping that first one, and then I'm going to work into the next one. I'm going to do 3 double crochet right into that second DC of the first shell that I did from round 2. And then I'm going to skip 2 stitches, 2 double crochet, so the last one and the first one of the shells, and I'm going to do 3 double crochet in the next. So I'm always working my 3 double crochet into the middle double crochet of the 3 double crochet shell. So then I'm going to skip 2 and do 3 double crochet again in the middle double crochet of that shell. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, I've completed row 3. Row 3 is our repeat round, so we are just going to repeat that for size medium, rounds 4 through 36. We're just repeating round 3, and that's going to be the bottom portion of our shirt. It'll lay like this, and it'll be our bottom portion, and then we'll start on our back and front panels. So I am going to do that now off camera, and I will come back and show you how to do those back panels. Okay, I have completed rounds 1 through 36. This is the bottom of my t-shirt. Now I'm ready to move on to the back panel. It says to not fasten off once you get, I did 36 rounds, and it says not to fasten off. So I'm just going to get my yarn here, and it says to long chain, turn, skip 1 double crochet, 3 double crochet in the next. So just like we've been doing. Skip the next 2, 3 double crochet in the next. And it says to repeat that across for 30 shells. So my shells are all 3 double crochet in 1 stitch. So I'm going to do 30 of these across, and that's it. I'm not going to continue all the way around. So I'm going to do that now, and it's easy to count. Just look at your 3 double crochet together. That's 1, 2, and the next one is 3, 4, and so on. I've done 30 shells across. Now I am stopping here. This is going to be our back panel. So now we're working in rows, and this is going to give us our back, top, back, and shoulder area that will create our armhole as well. So we're working in rows. For row 2, it says long chain, turn, and then we are going to skip 1 and do 3 double crochet in the next. Skip 2, 3 double crochet in the next, and we're going to repeat that all the way across. So we're just going back and working 30 shells again back to the beginning. And we are going to repeat that for rows 3 through 15 for this size. This is size medium. I'm going to repeat row 2, which is this one. And so I'm just going to add more length, but working in rows so that I can create those armholes. I'm going to do rows 3 through 15 as a repeat of this row 2, and then I'll come back and we'll start on the front panel, which has some neckline and shoulder shaping that I'll show you how to do. Okay, I've completed the back panel. I've done 15 rows, so now I'm ready to fasten off. And start on my front panel. For my front panel, I've turned my piece around because I want to be facing the right side. And I'm going to join my yarn to the second double crochet of the next unworked shell from the bottom of garment. So we've got our bottom piece here. We've got our back panel ends here, or starts here. Ends, I think. And so we are going to work into this next shell. And it says to join it to the second double crochet. So the one right in the middle that we work into each time. And then we're ready for row 1. We're going to long chain, and we're going to do 3 double crochet into that stitch. And then we're going to do our skip 2, 3 double crochet in the next. And we are going to repeat that all the way across for 30 shells. So we're going to have 30 shells on this side as well. And we should be over here at the end of our unworked stitches. So let's do 30 shells. Okay, I've done 30 shells. And now it says for rows 2 and 3, long chain, turn, and do our shells back across. So we're going to skip 1, 3 double crochet in the middle one, skip 2, 3 double crochet in the next, and so on across. I'm doing that for this row and the next row. So rows 2 and 3. Okay, I've done rows 2 and 3. Now we're going to be doing some shaping for the neckline and shoulder area. So we're going to be splitting into 2 different panels and leave some unworked for our neckline. So for row 4, we're going to long chain, turn, and it says to skip 1 double crochet and do 3 DC in the next. And then we are going to skip 2 and do 3 double crochet in the next. And it says to repeat for a total of 9 shells for this size. So I'm only going to be doing 9 of these shells. So I've got 2 so far. I'm going to do 3, 4, 5, okay, I've done my 9 shells, and now I am done with row 4. So that's where we're stopping. So that's going to be our shoulder area. We're going to leave some unworked for the neckline and then do it again over here. So I'm ready to move on to row 5. And I'm going to be working rows 5 through 15 the same way. It says to long chain, turn, and do 1 double, skip 1, do 3 double crochet in the next stitch, skip 2, 3 double crochet in the next, and repeat that across for 9 shells. And I am going to be repeating that for this row, which is row 5 through row 15 for this size. So just working 9 shells in each row. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you how to do the next side. Alright, I have finished off my first panel and turned to where I am facing the wrong side. to do my second panel. It says facing wrong side, skip 12 shells for this size, and then join yarn to the second DC of next unworked shell from row 3. So here's our row 3. I'm going to skip 12 from where I started my other one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the next one, I'm going to join my yarn to that second double crochet. And I should have 9 left, including this one that I've joined to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So I'm going to do a long chain and then 3 double crochet in this one that I've joined to. And then work my 3 double crochet, skip 2, work 3 double crochet in the next. And do that all the way across for the 9 shells. All right, that is row 4 of my second shoulder. And now for row 5 through 15, I'm going to long chain, turn my work, and work 3 double crochets, skip 1, 3 double crochets in the next, and then skip 2, 3 double crochets in the next, and repeat that all the way across, just like I did for the first shoulder. So I'll be doing 9 shells across for rows 5 through 15. And then we'll move on to seaming our shoulders up and working our trim. All right, I've completed through row 15 of the second shoulder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten off, leaving a long tail. I didn't do it over here, should have, but you'll want a fairly long tail because we're going to sew the back and the front together. So I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do, you could turn this inside out if you prefer. I'm not going to bother with it right now. But you're going to take a yarn needle and you're going to take that long tail that you just cut and attach it to the needle, and we're going to sew our stitches here to the back panel here. We're just going to sew them together. So I'm going to line them up, shell to shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I am going to make sure it's lined up. Okay. I am going to sew them together. I'm going to be using the mattress stitch. I have a tutorial on those, on methods of seaming, on my channel that I will link to. But I am just going to sew these 2 panels together at the shoulders. You could also slip stitch without sewing. You definitely would want to turn it inside out for that. But if you don't want to sew by hand, that's also an option. And I'm going to do it all the way across and then the same thing on the other side. Okay. And then I'm just going to take these and do a little knot here, and then I'll weave in those ends. So we've joined here. So we joined here. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side, except I'm going to take a piece from my ball of yarn and use it instead of the tail because it's not long enough. I'm going to attach it to my yarn, line up my stitches, and okay, I've finished. And I'm going to do the same over here. Made it a little too long, so I'm going to cut it off. Okay, so we have seamed our shoulders together. Put a knot in that one too, just to be safe. We have seamed our shoulders together. They are all put together now, and so we're ready to begin our trim. So the first trim we're going to do is our sleeve trim. You might want to fit check here and make sure everything is fitting okay before you start your sleeve trim. When you fit check, if the garment seems a little short or the neckline seems a little low, don't freak out. We have trim to add to our sleeves, neckline, and the bottom. So that's going to add some length here, or some thickness here, and length on the arms and the bottom. So I'm going to start with sleeve trim because that is what is next in the pattern. All right, to start our sleeve trim, we are going to take our yarn and join it to the bottom corner of our armhole. So we've got our armhole here. We're going to do it right here in this little corner of the armhole, down where the armpit area is and the armhole begins. So I'm just going to join my yarn, pull it through, and we're going to go right into the ribbing trim for this. So we're going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and each chain across. So we'll have 8 single crochet when we get back down to the armhole. Okay, and then it says to slip stitch along the side of the armhole twice. So we're just working along the side of the armhole here, and I'm going to slip stitch once and twice, just along the edge of the armhole. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch across until I get to my last, and then I'm going to do a single crochet in both loops of my last stitch, just to make it look nice and straight over here. Okay, chain 1, turn. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch across. This time I can do all in the back loop only. And then slip stitch again twice along the side of the armhole, and that just connects it to the armhole. So then I am now going to repeat rows 2 and 3 all the way around the armhole, and I'm going to join the ends by slip stitching together. So chain 1, turn, 1 single crochet in the back loop only till the last stitch, and then chain 1, turn. I did my last stitch with both loops, my single crochet, and then I chained 1, turn, and 1 single crochet in the back loop only, of each stitch across. And then I'm going to slip stitch to the side. So I'm just kind of evenly where it falls, putting it in there at the slips, doing my slip stitch, and it connects it. So I'm just going to repeat that all the way around rows 2 and 3 until I get back to this end, and then we'll join this end with slip stitches to the other end, and that will be our sleeve trim. So I'm going to do that off camera now, and then I'll show you how to join it. Okay, I've completed all the way around. I stopped when I didn't a repeat of, row 3, where I'm slip stitching along, and I've run out of room to slip stitch along the side. So I'm at the bottom of where I've just slip stitched, the bottom of my trim. So this is where I'm going to join these two ends together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. I am going to insert my hook into underneath both loops of the first stitch here on both ends, and I'm going to slip stitch through both of them to join them together. And I'm going to do that all the way up, insert underneath both loops of the stitches, the next stitch on both ends, and then slip stitch. For 8 stitches. And you don't want to do it too tight, but just keep your tension the same. And that is 8. So then I'm going to take my yarn and fasten off. There. And we are done with our sleeve. So now we are going to do our neckline. And the neckline and bottom is exactly the same as the sleeve. So same amount of stitches, everything. For the neckline, I'm going to join my yarn back here at the back of my top, right in the back middle area. And I'm just going to work all the way around. Let me lay it out flat. I'm going to work all the way around, down, across, and up. So at the bottom here, we will be working into the stitches we have here, slip stitching twice into the stitches. Otherwise, you're just going to work along. These are stitches too. For going down, you're going to work along the side. But the rest of the time, you're working into stitches as you slip stitch. And then for the bottom, you're working into stitches the whole time. You'll be doing the chain 9, single crochet back down, back loop only, and then slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. So you've just followed the instructions on the pattern, but it's going to be exactly like the sleeves. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll show you what it looks like. And then we'll be just about finished. All right, I have completed all my trim. I've done my neckline and my bottom here. And now my garment is finished. I do highly recommend that you block your garment in some way, whether that be steam or pinning it down and spraying it or wet blocking it. I wet blocked mine, and I was able to, since I'm using a 100% superwash merino wool, I was able to put it in the dryer on low for a few minutes to bring it to the right size that I wanted. So it will grow when it gets wet, this particular yarn, but it will also shrink back to the size that you want it to be in the dryer. So I always do like on low for like 10 minutes and check on it and see how it fits and all that. But regardless of what yarn you're using, I do recommend giving it a nice block so it'll have some good drape and open up those stitches just a little bit. And then I'm going to weave in my ends and I'll be ready to wear it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.